North Korean Foreign Minister Ri Yong-ho arrived in Sweden on Thursday for previously unannounced talks with his Swedish counterpart, Foreign Minister Margot Wallstrom. In talks that started Thursday and are expected to continue on Friday, the North Korean and Swedish delegations will discuss several topics, including the security situation on the Korean Peninsula, a spokesperson for the Swedish Foreign Ministry said. The visit sparked speculation that the Ri's two-day trip to Stockholm could set the foundation for a possible meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong Un. North Korean Foreign Minister Ri Yong-ho arrived in Sweden on Thursday. Read more. Opinion: a showdown of alpha males. It's still unclear where the meeting would take place, but Swedish Prime Minister Stefan Lofven said on Thursday that Stockholm was willing to facilitate the talks. The main actors, South Korea, North Korea, China, the US and Japan, have to agree on the substance, he said. We have said that if we can support such a process, we are prepared to do so. The talks in Stockholm will also involve Sweden's consular responsibilities in North Korea, which include representing US diplomatic interests. Sweden has had diplomatic relations with North Korea since 1973 and is one of the few Western countries with an embassy in Pyongyang. Read more. Is it Trump-Kim meeting a recipe for disaster? Or so crazy it just might work? North Korean leader Kim Jong Un said in his New Year's address that his country was in the final stages of launching an intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, whose inauguration was set for January 20, said on Twitter, North Korea just stated that it is in the final stages of developing a nuclear weapon capable of reaching parts of the U.S. It won't happen. North Korea tested its first ICBM, the Hwa-14, on U.S. Independence Day. Kim reportedly told his scientists that the U.S. would be displeased by the launch. This, he said, was because it was given a package of gifts. On its Independence Day, Trump wrote on Twitter in response, North Korea has just launched another missile. Does this guy have anything better to do with his life? Pyongyang tested its second Hwa-14 weeks later. Experts estimated the new rocket could reach the U.S. mainland. Trump lashed out at North Korean ally China, writing in a tweet, I am very disappointed in China. Our foolish past leaders have allowed them to make hundreds of billions of dollars a year in trade, yet they do nothing for us with North Korea, just talk. Trump appeared to threaten swift military action against Pyongyang when he told reporters, North Korea best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen. North Korea responded by threatening to fire a medium-range ballistic missile into the waters around Guam, a U.S. territory in the Pacific Ocean. It did not follow through. Pyongyang sparked international outcry when it test-launched a mid-range ballistic missile, the Hwa-12, over Japan. The UN Security Council unanimously condemned the test. Trump said in a White House statement, threatening and destabilizing actions only increase the North Korean regime's isolation in the region and among all nations of the world. All options are on the table. North Korea announced it had successfully tested its sixth nuclear weapon. Pyongyang said it was a powerful type of nuclear weapon called a hydrogen bomb and that it could be placed on top of a ballistic missile. Trump wrote on Twitter, the United States is considering, in addition to other options, stopping all trade with any country doing business with North Korea. In his first speech at the United Nations, Trump called North Korea a rogue state, and said Washington will have no choice than to totally destroy North Korea if Pyongyang failed to stop its nuclear weapons program. Referring to Kim, he added, Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself and his regime. Kim called Trump a mentally deranged U.S. dotard. 2 days later, North Korea test-fired its third ICBM of 2017. Pyongyang claimed it was a new missile, the Hwa-15, which was superior to the Hwa-14 and could hit any target on the U.S. mainland. The U.S. urged allies, including Germany, to break diplomatic ties with North Korea. Berlin ignored the call. Trump also called Kim a sick puppy. Kim said in his 2018 New Year's address that the North had completed its nuclear weapons program and that a nuclear button was on his desk at all times. Trump wrote 2 days later on Twitter, will someone from his depleted and food-starved regime please inform him that I too have a nuclear button, but it is a much bigger. She handed a letter to Moon inviting him to meet the North Korean leader in Pyongyang. Tensions appeared to be thawing. Seoul and Pyongyang had already agreed to send a unified hockey team to compete at the Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, South Korea. South Korean National Security Advisor Chung Eui-yong led a delegation on March 5 to Pyongyang to discuss the potential for peace talks. The next day, Chung said both sides had agreed to hold a joint summit in April and set up a telephone hotline between the two capitals. He also said Pyongyang would agree to stop its nuclear weapons and missile tests if the U.S. agreed to hold talks with the North. Chung flew on to Washington, D.C. to speak with Trump. After the meeting, Chung told reporters the U.S. president had agreed to meet Kim by May. Trump later wrote on Twitter, "No missile testing by North Korea during this period of time. Great progress being made, but sanctions will remain until an agreement is reached." Meeting being planned, foreign leaders welcomed the historic breakthrough. Author Alexander Pearson seeking clarity on Pyongyang's position. The U.S. State Department said it was aware of the meeting in Stockholm, but that Washington would not be taking part. "We don't have any information that meeting is about what we anticipate to be a meeting between the United States, other parties, and North Korea," Department spokeswoman Heather Nauert told a press conference. "We are not sending any representation," she said, adding that the United States was preparing for the summit in good faith, but has yet to hear from Pyongyang on the matter. Ri's visit to Sweden comes a week after the shock announcement that Trump accepted an invitation to meet Kim by May. No date has yet been set, and a location for the meeting has not yet been determined, although Sweden and the truce village on the South Korean side of the demilitarized zone between the two countries are possible contenders. North Korea has yet to publicly comment on what it hopes to gain from the talks, leading some to view the offer for talks with skepticism. The offer for a meeting comes after months of escalating rhetoric between Trump and Kim over North Korea's repeated missile and nuclear tests. North Korea is also facing a raft of United Nations sanctions over the tests. If the summit actually takes place, it will be the first time that any concurrent sitting leaders of North Korea and the United States have met. RS, SMS, AP, DPA, Reuters, DW's editors send out a selection of the day's hard news and quality feature journalism. You can sign up to receive it directly here.